Welcome back for another episode of More to the Story. This is super special recording. I'm so excited. I forgot to say my name. My name's Farron Moore.
What up? I'm Tahir Moore. It's your boy. You know what's going down
Stop.
in downtown
Okay,
Johnny Brown
so
on the
stop.
motherfucking.
So, today we have the Glamazon Tayomi in the studio. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Not only,
Look.
what you do? Oh, you blew him out. Oh, no, you so cute. You so cute. Look at
Because I was smoking.
Because
It made
in
it
the
look like
smoke.
a pistol.
Yeah.
Y'all cute.
So fucking handsome, bro.
You are, baby.
We got a very special guest in the house. Crazy how it worked out. Farron, I was telling Farron about. I was like, "Yo, I just followed this new young lady. Oh, she sings dope. You should reach out to her." She says, "What's her name?" I tell her her name. She's like, "Oh, I was about to inbox her anyway. I've been following her for a while."
I had just opened the message because I came across your most recent post, and I was like, why haven't I messaged her yet?
Mhm.
And I had just opened it, and then he said that, and then we reach out to you, and she's
Look
like,
at God.
I'm in LA. It's
Right?
like,
Look at God. I like literally, this wasn't even planned in advance. It was like, I was literally packing my bags and I was scrolling through Instagram, saw you. Anybody that has a blue check, I just be like, who is this? Right? Then I saw the numbers. I saw you were a comedian. I'm a huge fan of comedy. I have a lot of friends who are comedians back home in Chicago
Hey.
and all over. And I was like, let me just reach out and be like, hey, what's up? Because I saw you also had a podcast and I love doing podcast interviews. So it just worked out because he was like, oh, where you at? I was like, Chicago. Well, it's not far. I said, well, I'm flying out to LA tonight.
Hey,
Yo,
boom,
let's make it
there
happen.
is. Let's do
Yes.
it. And we did.
so
Here
dope.
we is. Literally
So-
24 hours, guys. It's happening in 24
Stay
hours.
ready. You got to stay ready.
So you ain't got to get ready.
You ain't got to get ready.
Unless you got two phones and you don't know your other phone is getting
I
texted
know.
about it.
Listen,
I
Let me tell you
wanted you to make it here before him so I could warn you. Like, he does not do tardiness, so he's going to drag you a little
I
bit.
thought
It's
she
okay.
was
You're
going
ignoring
to
me.
drag-
You
She
can
was-
drag me.
She was responding
She
to
was
Farron's text
responding to me immediately.
on
baby.
Instagram, and I'm texting her, hey, the car's here. This is what it looks like. I shared
My
the gif.
bad.
I'm getting crickets. I'm like,
I was literally charging that phone up because it's my main phone. It's
that's
my
the main thing.
lifeline.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was on the charger.
Got it.
And my Apple Watch was also charging, which is to my main phone. So I
Yeah.
was like,
It was a beautiful catastrophe, but we got it here. We got here.
I knew he was gonna drag you a little
It's
bit.
okay
I
to
didn't
drag
get a
me.
chance
It's fine.
to
I can take it.
warn you.
That wasn't even a whole
That's not
drag.
as bad as it could
Because
get.
that's a valid excuse.
It is.
Two phones, I get it, right? I've
Yes.
been working with people that live here and they come 15 minutes late. I'm like, this will be your last time.
oh, yes, See, I came from out of town. I
Yeah,
took two
listen,
flights to get here. You know what I'm saying?
listen.
I went to sleep at 4 a.m.
And that was a choice.
And I look, you see?
And you
Yes.
still look fantastic.
Because this hair
Yes.
was unhinged.
Listen, let me tell you something.
Flying heels
I
unhinged.
guess the
Unhinged.
driver dropped her off around the corner, and I'm seeing him in the park, and I'm like, yo, where's your passenger at? My arms is up and shit. He's pointing over there in the corner. I was like, why the fuck is she over here? I'm not here.
That's because I
She
saw
comes around the corner, just strutting. Hey! What you doing with all? What you doing, girl, with all that?
Ooh,
everything.
Listen, I saw
She
myself
doing everything.
in a reflection. It was like a reflective surface right there. I was like, ooh. So I was
Yep.
taking a little picture. And I heard my name. I said, huh?
Right. I love it though. She's like, I am late, but wait, picture.
Right. I was like, I look good.
Gotta get it when you gotta get it.
I don't even be
Shit.
taking them little mirror pictures. It's so hard for me. I'd be like, what's the angle?
Right.
Listen,
the-
I get it.
Meg the Stallion got that shit down.
Right.
Down.
Jesus, I hate taking my own pictures. Like they never come out right, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I just give up on me.
I
I'm
say-
better
I
on
say- I
video.
say pictures usually,
The
yeah.
I
full
give up
body
on
I
me.
can't do, but
Yeah.
the selfies, I'm queen.
See,
of
I
Oh,
can't
yeah.
even do selfies. I hate my selfies.
It's angles, girl.
The
all
only
on the
time I
angles,
like it is when I'm in the car. Like, how come my car selfie is cuter than my,
Because it's the
my
framing.
the world?
Because you know, no,
selfies?
it's what it is with her. She tries to do picture face. When I catch her laughing, because when I take her pictures, I say stupid shit to her to get her natural smile. Her
Yeah.
natural smile, the most beautiful thing. When she's trying to smile in the picture,
Right. You come straight into the
so I go to her
I
photo
go
shoot.
right to JCPenney
Yeah.
smile.
exactly.
Whenever she does a photo shoot, I always go with her, and there's the photographer snapping. I say, crazy giraffe dick. And she go, that That shit out hold it in. That laugh, boom. Fucking
Ooh,
award winner right
Oh,
there.
yo, that's exactly what he
Giraffe dick
did.
is
Giraffe dick
long.
long.
I've seen it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
giraffe and
It's a-
armadillo dick.
Yes, you see it touching the
Armadillo
foot.
dick is about the size of the half their
I
body.
was like,
Oh, what?
armadillos are like
A
niggas. They'll
armadillo-
fuck anything. You fucking a foot, my G.
And he was fucking the shit out of that foot.
Oh my God.
That foot was getting all
It
the
was a
fucking-
dirty ass foot too.
Mhm.
Like
Wait.
He was like,
I'm gonna have to see this now.
it's a video.
That dick came off.
Just
like
DM it to me. DM me that animal porn.
What camera is that? What fucking like
I ain't trying to yuck nobody's yum, but
Hey man. Hey.
armadillo, you deserve better.
Hey man. Armadillo's getting the best of it. How many armadillos be like, yeah, you know I fucked a human's foot the other day.
Oh my Lord.
You did what? Yeah, man. I saw that
That's a whole new
motherfucker
level.
sitting in
But
them
my
flipping
thing
floppers.
is, animals are usually attracted to things that like, look like them or smells and everything. So
Right.
what was going on with this foot that armadillo was like,
said
oh,
smell.
one of me.
You said
That's
smell.
that foot is probably a regular for a lot of armadillos.
Mhm.
So it was like, I recognize
It's
you.
so-
I've been
Yeah.
waiting on my turn.
Mhm.
Armadillo
my-
brothel.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. All of that.
Oh, y'all
Ridiculous.
crazy as hell.
Were you crazy as hell?
Okay.
You brought it up.
So not only is Tayomi a sex therapist, she is also in the lifestyle.
Yes.
And so by lifestyle, I mean, the BDSM kink fetish world. And she just introduced us all to Precious.
Yes.
Tell us about Precious.
It's so interesting, right? Because I've been interacting in kitten play maybe since like 2017.
Mhm.
And so when I was married, like me and my husband would play around with my kitten persona.
Mhm.
But after we broke up, I had been looking for somebody to be your owner.
Mhm.
And so with this new person who now owns me, it's so interesting because he's in my life helping me develop this personality.
Mhm.
And so as a pet player, it's a dom sub
Mhm.
dynamic. And I get to be submissive. I'm a switch. So most of the time I'm in my dominant space.
Mhm.
But as Precious, I get to show up as a soft kitty, little kitten,
Yeah.
that's like pampered and taken care of. And so each time me and my owner have a session where we play, it's like he's negotiating with me the different types of things that we can do to develop this personality.
Wow.
And it's so interesting because all of my friends who've known me for 5-10 years plus, especially those who are also in the lifestyle, right?
Mhm.
Are like, we don't see this side of you. And we want to see this more. We want to see Precious come out more. And I was like, oh. And one of my friends, shout out to my friend Gigi, she's my astrologer. She's like, there's a softness that I see with you in bringing this persona out. And I was like, wow, really? But then I started to notice it as well. And it's giving me permission to receive. Because you know how it is when you are an entrepreneur, you're a businesswoman, and you're handling business 24/7. I have a very small team of people that I work with, but it's still most of the heavy lifting is just me. And so I don't always feel like I get the chance to really receive.
Yeah.
So when I'm in that space, in that kitten space with my owner, that's the only thing that's required of me
Is
to receive.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy?
Yeah.
I never thought about it like that in a sense
Oh,
because it's very
my
difficult for
God.
me to relax and get head.
Mm.
Like this has been
Yes.
an ongoing thing for us our entire
I've had to
and I've
force
got
myself on him.
yeah, I've got
Oh, wow.
better at it. But as a leader, as a doer, as an entrepreneur, you always feel like you have to be doing something. And then
Right.
as a guy in the bedroom, I feel like I always have to be the dominant. Now I know there are some guys that prefer a sub role
Right.
in certain areas of the bedroom, but I always feel like, let me hump this. Even from the bottom, when she riding, I'm still throwing
Right,
that
doing
thing in the air. I'm like, I'm defying gravity.
And,
I'm
yes, and I've been telling him, be still.
Hey, but I, personally, I really like when my partner, adds from the bottom because I don't just want to be riding on a stale dick.
No,
lazy
that's
dick,
fine. But because of the place I know it's coming from for
Exactly.
him, it's
Always
like
having to
just
work.
Relax. Let me
just
do
relax
some work
and
for
let
once.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what it is. Because if I could get him to know how to turn that off and on, then it's like, yeah, do it sometimes and then sometimes don't.
Mhm.
But
I think
yeah.
y'all would benefit from Tantra for sure.
We have a friend that's really into it. And he's trying to.
He's not quite receptive yet. He ain't
Well,
ready
maybe
yet.
he needs a different teacher because I think sometimes it's not about the message, but the messenger.
Yeah.
And, each tantric practitioner is going to come with a different set of tools.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are practicing neo-tantra. Some are practicing lineage-based tantra.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on the style of tantra that's being taught, it's going to determine how you are receptive of it because tantra is medicine. So sometimes you might be being served the incorrect medicine, and that's why it's not really taking.
Yeah, I can definitely see that because before we got on lifestyle, like before we went to like vacation at certain resorts, I had never been around grown men naked. I mean, like I played sports in college, in high school, but it was just tennis. So at the most, it's like 3 guys and everybody ain't changing at the same time. So like to just be hosted in that lifestyle and that area, that environment initially was a shock. So when this person tried to teach us about tantra and breathing and like going slow, but they're naked, I'm just like, keep your dick over there. I couldn't focus on nothing else. Like, hey, yeah, I need a torso of length between me and your dick. If your torso comes
we've
past
actually had him on the show, and he's a really good friend of ours. But still, like he's an affectionate person. So while he's saying this, and he's a nudist at that,
right?
So
I am too.
While he's saying this, he's like rubbing his shoulders, and so it was like
it was a lot for me.
It was a lot for him to have to process.
That's a whole lot to process. And just in your first time being introduced to tantra, and the nudity is there, and the touching, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's no contact for me when I'm introducing my clients to tantra, and I'm clothed.
Okay.
We don't do that.
But it was our first time, and we were at a nude resort. So everybody was nude, but still, it was still a lot to process. Yeah. And I brought up him being a nudist because now, even if we tried to do a session with him now, he would very much likely be completely naked.
Being a nudist is so freeing.
It is, though. We're very much like that now. The reason we don't do it more at the house is because we have a kid.
Okay.
But when she goes back home for the holidays and then like,
it's
we
no
don't
clothes all the time.
No bottoms, no nothing.
Even she gets it though, because if it's just me and her at the house, she is walking around in damn near nothing, and she just like, oh.
I've been to nudist resorts or like communities where the children were nude, and I was like, that was new for me.
Wow.
I was like, oh wow, and it was predominantly like white folk, right? And I was thinking about that, like, wow, okay. The difference between like our culture and their culture, and I do know of Black families that are nudists and they introduce it to their children too. But I was just like, wow, look at this like freedom where the body is not being sexualized. It's just the natural state of being, right? And I know like growing up, my mom, my twin, and I, like we would always be naked around each other.
Wait, so it's 2 of you?
Yes, I have a twin.
Shit. Identical?
Shout out to Nurse J. Becky. Yeah.
The world ain't ready.
Right?
It's just too much body out of
No, it is. And she got even more body than me. Like she
really
la She always been the twin with the bigger boobs. I've always had a butt, She got butt too, but like she's always been more of a voluptuous.
Okay, all right.
And I always felt like little sis, because I am the younger twin by 25 minutes. I was fashionably late to the world.
Wait, you waited 25 minutes?
Yeah, y'all gonna wait for me.
Diva. Fucking diva.
She was trying to comb out the feathers in her boa. She had to make sure.
She had just sat down to fix her plate. And her sister was like, well, I'm gonna get up out of here. Like, well, bitch, why you gonna leave? I'm gonna finish my plate.
Exactly.
The doctors and nurses on the smoke break outside.
That's literally my attitude in life, and I swear to God, it's because of how I entered the world. It's just like, y'all gonna wait on me.
And we did.
And they did. And we did. Respectfully.
And did.
Respectfully.
Wait, this was all part of the plan. This bitch knew she was gonna be late.
Listen, I was like, I hit snooze one too many times. I was like, all right, get your ass up.
Yeah,
Wash your ass.
Yeah, you had a late flight and didn't get to bed till 4.
Late flight, late night.
Yeah, because I
then-
was up literally taming his hair. I was like, oh no, I can't go on this podcast with the lion mane. It's like not that.
So,
Did you
I
get a
wanna
chance to
get-
go out last night? I'm sorry, man.
Hell no.
Oh.
I got to my hotel at like 1:30 a.m.
Oh, shit. Okay. Gotcha.
Right. And then they were like, well, we don't have the room that you booked, but we're going to upgrade you to an executive suite. I was like, okay.
Fire.
Right.
Fire.
Right,
It's
so-
a lot of good eateries down where you stand too.
It's
So
a
if you
whole
need any,
lot.
yeah, if you need any suggestions, let me know.
I'm
we
a
are
foodie.
the same. We got a whole list of shit that you could try.
Let me know.
Let me know.
So going back to Precious and that giving you like a space to receive, I'm getting
Niggas is asking for the IG early.
Real Glamazon Tayomi.
What's her IG?
Real Glamazon Tayomi.
and it is in it's on the More to the Story and my IG as well, I
Okay,
believe.
yeah.
You know, my IG is way more tame than what it used to be because IG, you know how they've been snatching people's pages.
Man, pages,
I can't even
monetization.
turn a half of my bare ass cheek to the camera without them being like solicitation. I'm like, damn.
Listen, once you're on their radar, you're on their radar for a
For
good 6
life.
months.
Yeah.
Yes.
At least
But
that.
because they've been picking at me a
Well,
little
she
bit.
been showing
and
her
I'm-
nipples and shit.
Okay, but I had
But
on
see-
a sheer and it had like these stars on it. So I'm like, because it's something covering me, I should be fine.
And also,
And they was like, no.
it's like you got like I feel like you got the acceptable titties. You know what I mean? You got
Girl,
acceptable
They
titties.
tame as fuck.
You know, now me, my big ass areolas, I get it. You know, I really get it. But you got acceptable titties. Like that's
Big
that's
ass
trash.
areolas.
Yeah, they like bullseyes. You know, like bah. They really are.
You know
so-
what? And mine are big and really dark compared to my skin. So it was probably
like
like,
those
no,
chocolate
those are,
areolas.
Yeah,
those
yeah.
are very
It's the same-
areolary.
my private. I've been told I got the dick of a Deontay. My dick is hella dark skin.
We
very
about to reel it in.
snicker-ish.
But that's how it is with y'all light skins.
Yeah.
Yes.
They be having a dark child. I'm like, where that come from?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like,
What I go? She did her arms like, where you get that from?
Right? Where
What
you
you
get
talking
that
about,
from?
Dickens?
I hate you.
I love it though.
But yeah, so that sounds is I hear like a lot of you had to learn a new type of intimacy in that because
Yeah.
receiving, being able, because people wanting to treat you
Mm-hmm.
is like it's their way of connecting and building intimacy with you, and the rejection or the discomfort in receiving is rejection of that intimacy. Am I is that
Yeah, absolutely. And what's interesting is that this person didn't just come out of nowhere, right? Because I'm very public with like my processes and how I express myself.
Mhm.
So like I've had people on social media being like, meow for me, crawl to me. I be like, shut the fuck up.
right?
I
Sir, suck my dick. Like,
Yeah. I literally be like, you don't have the authority. See that? So then the Dom comes out and I'm like, you don't have the authority to talk to me like that or to give me any commands. So shut up, respectfully.
right.
Like, okay, my bad. Yeah, because you don't
Yes.
know the rules. You're not my
Right.
owner, so don't talk to me. And this is not performative for you.
Mhm.
It's not
Right.
performative for you.
Mm.
So,
And she looked them right in the face.
because I will check you respectfully online. Okay, same energy online, same energy in real life. Okay. So my owner, this wasn't like somebody who came out of nowhere. He was following me for a while, and then we started like developing a relationship in person during the pandemic because I ended up moving to a neighborhood that was kind of close to where he lived,
Okay.
right? And so during the pandemic, he would ask me if I needed anything. And again, you know, I've been working on really relaxing into receiving because that's the feminine principle, right? So I was like, okay, let me just accept this. And so he would come over with his mask on and like, you know, giving me food and stuff like that. And then he's also a cannabis consumer like myself. So he would, you know, bring me cannabis products and stuff because he has a friend that makes like juices and, you know, edibles and whatnot.
Oh shit.
And then for my birthday in 2020, he bought me a kitten kit. And it had a tail and ear and like several pairs of ears and like some clip-in ears.
Really?
And so that was the introduction because he was like, I don't know, like, you know, is it okay for me to gift you this? Like he asked for consent first.
Right.
Super big.
Super big. And so from there, I was like, okay. And then he started talking to me about his role in the lifestyle. And he is married and him and his wife are in the lifestyle and stuff. So this is all consensual and all ethical. So over time, we built this relationship. And last year, around my birthday, he brought me a big gift of like these cannabis Kool-Aids. Shit's fire. It's an upper, so I'll be like, yeah. Yeah, geeked. But he mentioned like, well, if you ever want to play, I have a lap for stray kitties. And I was like, oh, right. I was like, oh. And then immediately, not gonna lie, I felt a little triggered, right? Because I went back into like the last relationship that I had was with my husband and being my owner. And so even though I had been like literally calling out to the universe for a new owner, I was like, why do you feel triggered in this moment when this man is literally offering something to you and you feel safe with him? So I had to go in and do a little bit of shadow work, you know, figuring out like, what is this that's coming up? And so I was like, just trust and just flow with it. And what I loved about the whole situation is that when I opened up and said, okay, he said, all right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to have a date. We're going to go on a date and we're going to talk about your role as a kitten and what you want to experience. And I'm going to talk about how I am as an owner and my experience.
That is the way it's supposed to be.
We had a negotiation.
That is the way it's supposed to be.
That's how it is. And he asked me like what kind of foods I liked and everything. And so he chose a restaurant that we both liked and that was a central location for both of us to get to because we live on separate sides of town in Chicago. And it was the best. I showed up with my ears on and my little leopard print dress. People in the restaurant looking like, what the fuck is happening?
Fuck them.
Right.
I don't let them wonder.
I straight up don't care.
You could never.
It'd be the white man for me.
Yes.
The
they
white
probably
man
be already knowing what's happening, but can't say shit.
Right. The white man be like,
and look at your guy and be like, lucky motherfucker.
Yes. They can't stop staring. Like they be trying
I've been
so
trying
hard
to get her to wear ears for years and she won't do it.
Yep, they be staring so hard, unashamed. And so he came with a notepad. He had a notepad with notes and with points that he wanted to make sure that he hit. And when I was talking about myself and my preferences, he was taking notes. And so he was like, okay, based on what you're telling me here, this is how I see our relationship rolling out because I'm here to help you develop this persona, right? I was like, oh, this next level. I was like, oh, that's serious. Right, exactly. And that is the role of a dom.
Yeah.
A proper dom or dame, if it's a woman, right? Or a femme identifying person, is going to help you grow and develop as an individual. It's not just about like being in control of someone. Now, when it's a service kink and you're paying somebody for an exchange, that's different. But in a true DS dynamic where it's a relationship, it's all about the growth and the development of that person. So that's how you could tell the difference between somebody who's just like being performative as a dom or a dame and somebody who's really living the lifestyle of it. And so I appreciated that. And
it's a big commitment.
It's a huge commitment.
To be the dom, the things, the attention to detail and the fuck.
Right? Because he buys me stuff like we have we talk like practically every day through text. And he's always looking for stuff for me to like build out my persona. So like Precious is a white kitty. And so he found like a new robe for me.
Oh, so that whole get up on your IG.
So the first get up, like the official picture I put out, I put all that together myself.
Okay.
But he's upgraded my ears. He brought me a tail. He brought me a bowl that I customized with my name on it. He got me a second plug for my tail because the first plug is like a small metal one. And I was like, I think I need a little big of a plug. Silicone, please. So he bought me that. He bought me like lingerie and little like crotchless undies so I can wear my tail comfortably. Yeah, I put that together myself. Yes. Yeah,
go to
that
her page. Go to her motherfucking page. Right.
Yo, as you see, I was already stalking. I knew exactly what she was talking about. Okay. Okay,
Go
I
to
knew
the
exactly.
goddamn page.
Y'all hear me and
Y'all
about
like,
The shit going on.
y'all hear about me flying to
Body.
Chicago? Just
Body.
know.
serving body. I am 5'10" and a half.
Listen.
Okay.
Look, I don't even care. I
I be
don't
lying to
care
say
how
I'm
tall you.
5'10". I'm not. Okay.
I don't care how tall you are, baby.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Listen.
And she not playing.
I
Fran
am
ain't
an
playing.
equal opportunity employer of sizes, body and dick. Let's go. Whatever you are
I
bringing,
feel
I
like
can work
we
with
need to
it,
collab
you know?
on a shirt that say all that.
Listen.
But,
With the checkbox.
Right.
Check off the box.
Motherfuckers say they already there. Weird bosses say there.
right. Shit. This Frontier little summer fly thing don't sound so bad anymore. Just, ma'am,
Listen.
you only went back and forth to Chicago.
Listen, they own it.
Chicago be
And
lit in the
don't just
summertime.
go to the page and look. Follow.
Follow
her
me,
yes,
page.
follow,
me.
Check out her
support.
stuff.
So, let me pull up my little notes.
Well, you
Give
got
me
to
a
do the
second.
cards first, baby. You didn't even do the cards.
Oh shit!
Let's
Ooh,
do the
y'all got
cards.
cards?
Yes,
I love a
we
good
have
card game.
y'all. I jumped right into it because I was ready for this conversation. But the tonight's conversation. This is the After Dark, the Sexy 69 questions. I feel like I say that
Ooh.
different every time I read that. damn thing.
69.
So this gonna
She's
get
so
in your
motherfucking
business,
fun.
right?
I want to invite her, introduce all our friends. But what you doing?
Yeah.
Let us get 3 hours. We'll throw something together real quick
Yeah,
at the house.
let's do it. Let's do it. I'm down for debauchery.
Oh my
all
God!
we
Yes,
know.
I'm always with the
yes.
shit. I'd be like, what we doing? That's always the question. Like, so what we doing?
What we doing?
And those who know.
Yeah.
All right, that's the calling card. What we doing?
Hey,
Mm.
we out here. Sign in with
Ooh,
Twitter.
okay. These are all good. I got 3 questions for
Mm.
you. We about to get in your business.
Okay, let's go. I'm with it.
So the first, which sexual position do you enjoy the most?
Okay.
Here we go.
It's a tie. It really is. It's a tie between being on top, because I just like fucking people up. Yo, yeah, like I am the founder of the Cowgirl Workout, the only
Yes.
online
Yes.
sensual fitness program teaching women how to not only ride dick but become dick assassins. Okay, so I'll be assassinating dicks.
Let me put the camera on me real quick.
He's like, I volunteer as tribute.
You say what now? Fuck
I,
somebody up on the dick?
I assassinate
Yo,
dicks.
that's what I want for my Easter gift. What's the next holiday that's coming up?
Listen,
Can you
I don't
give
play.
me this workshop, please, for Easter?
I
got
don't
you. Say
play
less. Say
when I'm on
less.
top of the dick. I just
Yo.
love it. I love seeing the facial expressions.
Mhm.
I love like feeling when their soul's about to leave their body. They cannot control it. I'm
Kill
like,
me.
haha, finish
Kill
him.
me. Yeah, kill me.
This
Yeah.
is over here. I volunteer as tribute.
So of course, being on
Mhm.
top, it's really intimate too, because like, you know, as when you are a cisgender woman,
Mhm.
right? And you know how it is, the typical roles, it's like if you're in a hetero coupling, the man is typically the one that's dominant.
Mhm.
But when you get on top, it's a power shift.
Yeah.
And so with that, you got to have the confidence to get up there and know what you're doing.
Mhm.
And you could take your time, you control the depth, you control the speed, and you get to have multiple orgasms. And I'd be like, don't finish before I do. Because I could tell when he's almost there and I'll stop and clinch. Or I'll tuck and roll and hop off.
Tuck and roll
Look.
and hop.
Hold
Look.
the fuck off.
Tuck,
She
roll,
is,
Listen.
hop
she is
off.
out here looking
You-
like Hitman on the dick.
You tuck and roll and hop off. You do all that shit. You gonna make me come faster.
She out here Mission Impossible.
Oh,
on
that
the
shit turned me on.
Listen, all of a sudden she just go up in the sky.
Listen, you turn to Jason Bourne on the dick. I'm gonna get. Oh, this bitch is crazy. Splash. She said tuck and roll on the dick, guys.
Look,
All right.
especially because I am a firm believer in pulling out, because that's my form of birth control. And a rhythm method. You know? And so I know how to tuck and roll. I tell my clients all the time, if you're not trying to get pregnant, just tuck and roll. Roll off the dick.
Get
So-
a vasectomy, fellas.
Please.
Come
Ooh.
over to this side, baby. We good over
If
here.
you don't want to have no more kids,
It's
vasectomy,
good.
please.
Yes.
Hey, man, it's beautiful living over here, man.
Yes.
So-
My
yes,
nuts
yes.
come out with smiles on their face.
He he is barely a month into this vasectomy.
Don't
When I
even
tell
give
you
a
he
fuck.
is the fucking poster child.
Listen to this man.
Hey, man.
Because we should not have to be in battle with our bodies with this medication.
Yep.
When if you don't want to have children, just get this procedure done. It's reversible. It's not forever if you don't want it. The second position, though,
I was
sex
just about
from
to
the
ask.
side.
From the side.
Brah. And
Like both of y'all on the side or just you on your side? and him
either
up?
one. It's either
Okay.
me on the side and he's erect or spooning. Yo, I don't know. It's like
Man.
like so with the vagina in the middle, it's like this. It's like shaped like an H. So it's these other like little pockets in the middle that you can hit when you get it from the side. And I love it because when he hits that spot, I feel it, he feels it, and it's like it's an instantaneous. Both of us just like, oh my god,
Yeah.
But then I also hate it. Let me tell you why. Because when these niggas hit that spot, it's done for. I'm like, come on, man, like please last. Like I'm almost there. Don't give up the ghost
See,
yet.
you know what?
Keep it in. Hold on.
It is amazing because that's usually like his
my
finish.
finisher.
Once I'm in
Exactly.
that position, he
It's
can't
done-
take
it's
it
done
no
with.
more.
Listen,
It's done with.
But I'm like, yo, this is actually revving my ass back up.
You see what I'm saying?
I was
You just get it started.
I wait till she get hers, and then I'm like, all right, I throw them legs over like this. Okay, keep them together.
But I'm telling you,
I be
man,
ready.
it just
That one, and okay, I gotta get to your third one before I give, because I'm going to give one of mine, like, just in case you
Oh,
don't miss it.
I ain't even asked for yours.
I just had the two.
Oh, let me tell
On
you
top
something.
and the side
Let me tell
sex,
y'all
like,
something.
whew.
Let me tell y'all something. Now, the side is my favorite.
Are you about to break down the diagram for
Listen.
side sex?
Listen, no. The side is my favorite. Running a very fucking close second is collapse cowgirl.
Yes.
Collapse doggy style.
Yeah,
Collapse doggy
Oh.
style when she's on her stomach.
I call
And
that
you-
plank.
Oh.
That plank
And
position.
you get a, like, start doggy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then push her motherfucking ass down.
Yeah.
Right? Collapse. Get
I
your
thought
legs
he
on the
was just trying to
outside.
make me shut up.
Put them on the inside. I mean that too. All right. Now you are in there, legs closed, your legs on the outside,
Yep.
right? Now you first you get in there, you grind a little bit, and then you lift yourself up.
She said, yeah.
Grab one of them shoulders, grab her shoulder, right? As leverage right there.
On
You're
the
gonna
back
have
of
the
the
other
neck.
hand right here, lifting yourself up, and just go to motherfucking work. Not hard, but
Mhm.
just hit every
That
fucking
press in.
corner.
Mhm.
You are a bumper car at that point. You want to
Basically.
hit every fucking corner
Yeah.
inside of that man. It's like you churning the coochie. You gotta churn that shit like ice
like
cream
butter.
to butter.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Oh my
You
god.
listen. I'm trying to put y'all on game. And if you really want to fuck her up, put a pillow under her.
Yep.
Under her. What's this part?
Those
right there?
things.
This abdomen part right
Yeah,
here.
Yeah.
pelvis.
Yeah,
That's a
pelvis.
pelvis.
Put a
Yeah.
pillow so it hunches her up just a little
Mhm.
bit. That's going to give you better
Just a little
leverage.
bit.
And it's also going to give you a better range for depth when
So
you go on the
good.
side of that. Now, you hit the back of that pussy.
Yeah.
She going to be in love for life.
Cervical orgasms.
Cervical.
And let me tell you something.
orgasms.
With reflexology, sexual reflexology, the cervix is the heart center.
Mm.
So when you're pressing against the cervix, because who was that? I was on B.O.B.'s podcast and he was like, that's like a crazy button down there. I said, yeah, because you're literally pressing into somebody's heart center. So you fall in love
Mhm.
because the
Mhm.
head of the penis
That's
is
how you
the
got
heart
me.
center.
Hey, collapse doggy.
Look, I
That's how
personally,
he got me.
I like collapse doggy
yeah.
with the hand on the back of the neck.
Yep.
That's what I said.
That's
Like,
it.
I was
I'm
like,
truly a
That's
cat. It'd
back
be
of
like,
the neck.
Yep. And she be like, when she start moaning and her teeth are showing,
that's how you know it's real.
Facts.
gotcha, bitch.
Or like a hand, for me, like a hand over the mouth and nose. Because I'm into
Oh,
erotic
breath
asphyxiation.
play.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. That my heart is like racing right now thinking about it. I'm like,
Yeah.
shit.
I love it, but I got asthma too bad. You put your hand on my pressing charges. But you know I can't breathe that well.
Listen, you can't be doing that now.
Yeah. I keep my inhaler by the bed like it's a pistol. Who is that?
I'm weak.
I'm gonna get you a chain for it.
That'd be
Listen,
hot though.
I was
Hey,
just say.
spray paint that bitch.
A
Put some-
gold crusted in
Dip it,
there.
I say, dip it in some gold leaf.
All I gotta do is keep replacing it.
Bedazzle the fuck out of it.
Right.
Don't be surprised if you see me on the road with a gold dipped in hairless case.
Trendsetters out here. Let them know.
I'll have with the bling down
you
our
heard it
buterol.
here
Like,
Listen, I'm gonna start coming out to Fabulous. Breathe. Breathe.
Yo, I'm all prepared to be all fucking professional and shit with her ass when she as dumb as we are.
people don't know. I got the jokes for days.
She
Yeah.
is dumb as we are. Okay. Next question. Could you be in a relationship with someone you're not sexually attracted to?
Not a sexual or romantic partnership.
Okay.
I could be in a friendship. We could have,
Mhm.
well, I can't say, so I could be in a romantic relationship with someone I'm not sexually attracted to. I mean, I would still have love for them. We could date. We could do all the things, right?
Mhm.
We're just not going to have sex.
Mm.
And I can't lie. Like, I do have some relationships where, like, we're in love and we've never had sex.
Mhm.
But I'm not going to consider that as like a primary partnership because I'm poly. So I do have partners that like fit in different categories.
Mhm.
But yeah, like we could be in a relationship. It just wouldn't be a sexual relationship.
Mhm.
And I think that that's important because
Yeah.
intimacy is way more
Mhm.
than just physical.
Yes.
You can have spiritual and emotional
Mhm.
intimacy as well.
And can you explain or give examples of those different types of intimacy? Because I feel like intimacy is so often confused with sex, like you just said. So
Mhm.
people only think about sexual acts when they think of intimacy, but it can be displayed in these other ways. Can you give examples?
So intimacy in itself is defined as the closeness that you feel with a person as you develop a bond with them,
Mhm.
right? And also intimacy with ourselves is the same. It's just the relationship and the closeness you have with yourself. And so the only time we really see as far as like the popularized definition of intimacy, it automatically goes to physical intimacy, but you have mental and intellectual, emotional and spiritual.
Mhm.
And so with spiritual, it's do you connect with somebody on a spiritual level? Does that person speak to who you are as a spirit body?
Mm.
And in Tantra, like there's a lot of spiritual intimacy that's developed because you're tapping into that other person's energy. And then emotional intimacy is so interesting, right? Because what do we see a lot of times online, like when it comes to infidelity? Like, oh, you liking a person's pictures or you having these deep conversations with
Mhm.
them, you sharing feelings that you don't share with me, you're cheating. That's because that person has emotional intimacy with another.
Mhm.
Like there are certain things that I'm sure maybe you don't share with him that you share with like girlfriends or like other people that's a little more intimate that, and I don't know, y'all probably have a really deep relationship where y'all share everything.
What to say?
Right?
No.
But
they could literally swap stories and hear the exact same version.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
But there's like an emotional intimacy that you can share
Mhm.
with people that it just taps into who you are at your core
Mhm.
emotionally. And then intellectually, especially for those who are like sapiosexuals, they get off on having these intellectual conversations and debates and things like that.
Mhm.
And that stuff can get really deep because it's really reflecting
Mhm.
like what your principles are. And then with the physical intimacy, we know what that is. That's sex,
Mhm.
right? Sex or even just physical touching or like physical closeness. It doesn't always have to look like penetrative sex.
Mhm.
It could be kissing or it could be cuddling. It could be holding each other. It could be eye gazing. There's a lot of different
Mhm.
ways that physical intimacy can be experienced without penetration.
Mhm.
And so we share intimacy in all of our relationships.
Right.
But the only time we
I was
prioritize
just
it.
about to get
Yeah.
into that because I know, like, I share intimate moments with a very close female friend of mine,
Mhm.
and it's like as simple as just sitting there talking shit while we're like spooning on the couch, and that's
Mhm.
it.
And that's the
And
closeness and the bond
yeah.
that you have. And like, it's so crazy to me
Mhm.
how people only respect intimacy if
Mhm.
it's coming from a sexual space,
Mhm.
but they don't understand how right now this is intimate.
Mhm.
You know, like we're all like sharing the same energy right now. We're laughing, we're having a good time. This is intimate. And I'm going to say it displays emotional and even intellectual intimacy because you know,
Mhm.
you say we all dumb, but dumb in the sense of like we are fucking funny.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
But this is intimacy. And people don't understand that it could be as simple as this. And I think they overcomplicate it.
Mhm.
Yes.
And so then they assume that they don't have any intimate moments. But it's like you can have intimate moments with your parents. Like if you
Yeah.
have a good relationship with
Mhm.
your parents or like people in your family, even your bosses or like coworkers and stuff, you know, like
Yeah.
we are experiencing intimacy even in being like in an Uber. You
Mhm.
know, with the Uber driver, you ever had a conversation that just
Yes.
kind of get a little deep, or they like
Mhm.
speak into your life? It's like, wow, that's some emotional
Mhm.
intimacy right there just for 30 minutes. And so if people would just realize just how vast intimacy is,
Yeah.
I think
Mhm.
that they would see that in their lives they have so many more opportunities
Mhm.
to be enriched
By
by the
those.
experiences.
I think a lot
Yes,
of people
absolutely.
are. I mean, they take things at face value.
Yeah.
And you never choose. Well, a lot of people don't choose to go deeper than the surface because a lot of times we're exposed to what the highest form of something is, right?
Mm.
So, like, if you tell somebody you're poly, people typically go to the far end of that, like, oh, you fucking everybody out here. Like, calm the fuck down. You didn't have a chance
Relax.
before. You still don't have a fucking
Thank
chance.
you.
Like, just calm
Relax.
the fuck down. But I like a born like when you were saying that she might not tell me everything emotionally. There was a time.
Right.
There
Because
was a time, yeah.
Right.
I wasn't emotionally available. And
Mhm.
I wasn't the best affectionate person. I thought
Mhm.
intimacy and affection were all the same thing. Like, and I
Mhm.
didn't even know how to show my daughter affection effectively initially because
Mhm.
I was so closed off to
Yeah.
love. I had so many
Yeah.
walls up. I would not let
Mhm.
people get close.
Yep.
You
And so
said-
I
you
didn't know how
said-
to love effectively as a parent at first.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
And y'all's relationship, like I see that closeness in you guys now to where like before, if he didn't actually like tell her like, yo, roll with me to go such and such, she wouldn't say anything. You know, he would
Mhm.
just go in and out, you know,
running
whatever.
errands, whatever.
Me, I can't fucking walk into another room without her trying to come with me or
Aw.
asking me where I'm going or whatever. And now she's at this point where he's headed out. Hey man, where you going? I'll
Oh.
go with you.
Yeah.
I
just
love
like
that.
And it's beautiful.
Wait up, man. And like she'll go, she'll go get her stuff and then be like, come on, let's go. It's like,
And it's such a beautiful
It's so
thing to experience
cute,
because I
yeah.
saw that relationship between them and I
Mhm.
wanted it. I longed for it.
Wow.
But I knew that I had to put the work in. It wasn't going to be something that
Mhm.
the kid
You
was just
said
going to
it.
normally do because she had to feel comfortable enough to even invite herself or ask where I was going because I
Exactly.
didn't give off the energy like I wanted to be bothered.
Exactly.
And so she felt like a nuisance if she would ask. And I had to realize that. So, like,
Come on, black
learning,
man, for doing the
listen,
work.
man,
Come on, black
learning
man.
this stuff has been so eye-opening and also rewarding because like even with sapiosexuals, I didn't realize that I was attracted to that. We have a friend in like the outer circle of us, and she is very intellectual. When she talks, like she uses words that just aren't normally used in
Right.
day-to-day jargon conversations. Like you just don't hear it. And sometimes you be talking, I'll be like, God.
She has a very vernacular.
Oh man,
I
it's
totally
so dope.
get that.
But also, like, just listening to you talk, like, I have an appreciation for your knowledge, and it's also super fucking sexy as someone knows so much about their field and can
Yes.
educate others. Like, I come
Yeah.
from a family of teachers, and maybe that has something to do with it. I was a teacher for 3 years, 7th grade science, and then I taught in jails too.
Okay,
And so,
science.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? A nigga like what he like.
I took AP chemistry. What's good?
Me too. I know all the properties.
I need to switch seats. I mean,
Nah, but
I won't be cock blocking.
I love when someone can teach me something, not just for the knowledge that I can receive from it, but also like just someone being. I feel like education is the same as talent and art. When someone chooses to share that with you,
Yeah.
take time out of their schedule to help educate you or entertain you, that's a choice.
Yeah.
That's time out of their life they can never get back. And I'm big on time because you can get money back and get cars back and get houses back. But your education and time are two things that are going to be priceless for the rest of your life. And when somebody chooses to share both with you, that's an intimate moment in itself.
It's so
Yeah.
intimate.
So I realized I had the first sapiosexual moment I remember where I like leaned all the way into it. I was dating this guy and he used the term quid pro quo. And he's like, he fucking grew up in East St. Louis. Like he still lived there. And I was like, this nigga quid pro, and he used it, right?
Right.
And then it was another conversation about this book, and then he goes to grab it and he opens it to show it to me, and I was like, naked right now.
Yep.
Naked right now.
Give me sex. Give me sex.
You in here right now.
Give me sex or I will cry
It
on you.
is so crazy because like he was a nice looking guy, but I actually wasn't all that attracted to him. But that
intelligence
I
tended
was
up.
like,
Yup.
hey.
That's
Get your
how
little
it
smart,
is.
ugly ass over here.
That's how it is for me with like conversations about hip hop and like going into theory and shit. I just be like, ooh.
That's crazy. You know, hip hop was started in the 70s, Bob. And if you think about the rhythms and the jazz
Here
and
we
the
go.
influence of R&B
Tell her
and
about
rock,
it. You want to sit
Like,
right here?
let's
and
go,
let's
go.
I wanted to just feel it for a second. I mean,
You know what? See, I'm feeling the blood just like, it's doing something. My armpits sweating
let
and
me
shit.
tell you something. You ain't doing it right unless the areolas get hard.
Listen,
You know what I'm saying? The
when my areolas start
the
expanding,
areolas-
that's how you know it's real.
Yeah, anybody can get the nipples hard, but you get the areolas, to
areolas
puff
start
up a little
moving.
bit. Oh,
It's a wrap.
you know how
Yeah.
you know how Cocoa
Yeah.
Puffs been when they been sitting in milk for too long, and they just swell just a little bit. You get that blood rushing to the areola, my boy. Now you done done some shit.
Baby,
Oh
listen.
my God.
You said something earlier though about the walls, right?
Mhm.
Having those walls up, and I think so many people have been traumatized,
Yeah.
right? That there are these walls up, and the walls have been put up as a form of protection, but they
Yeah.
end up becoming a prison
Absolutely.
because
Mhm.
then you don't let anybody in, you don't let anyone see you, and what's really happening is like everybody's wearing masks.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the question is someone seeing the representative or are they
Yeah.
seeing
Seeing-
the real you?
Yeah.
Yes.
And what's even more messed up is you put the walls up to protect yourself from the outside world, but then also it's preventing you from actually knowing yourself.
Yeah.
Because
Mm.
now you're being performative and just trying to put on the idea of
This
what is
persona.
acceptable
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
others, right? And so
Yeah.
that's why people don't recognize what true intimacy is because they don't even have it with themselves
Yeah.
first.
So we have this family unit out here, and usually Tahir feels like, kind of that he has to be performative, like the life of the party type
Mm-hmm.
person, and he was always that way. And finally, like, I'm starting to see him realize, like, yo, I don't have to do that with these
Mhm.
niggas. Like,
love
everybody
it.
else gets that, but I can like sit here and just
Mhm.
have a real ass conversation and then not get weird. I don't have
love
to perform for them, and because he's brought up several times that, oh, at home I get to turn it off, but out in the world I don't. And but
Mm.
now it's like these people that are
Mhm.
like, dude, you could turn it off here too. And he's
Man.
like, yeah, I
And it's
see
beautiful.
that.
And it's not even just that.
Come on.
It's
Yeah.
also we all went to Joshua Tree for New Year's Eve, and I had a revelation there too. I'm one of those people where I don't let a lot of people in. Like our inner group,
Yeah.
they were in, but they weren't in. They don't
Mhm.
know about the ins and outs, the shit that I'm dealing with because I had, even though I broke down a lot of walls, I still had a certain way I wanted them to view me.
Exactly.
And I was afraid that me showing vulnerability, all of my vulnerability to them, the shit that I'm worried about, the shit that I'm kind of stressing and it's provoking anxiety would change the optics of how they viewed me.
Yeah.
Mm.
And so I let them know that night, one of those nights, I was like, yo, I have not been being completely transparent with you guys. Because one of our friends was like, I want some Tahir time. She was like, I never get to spend time with you when you're at work. It's always in group setting. I want to
Yeah.
just go to lunch with you.
Yeah.
And I had just like, okay, cool, we're going to figure it out as a throwaway sentence. And I didn't
Exactly.
mean it because that required me to get close and be
Mhm.
Yep.
vulnerable and have conversations on a one-on-one. If I'm entertaining a group, I never have to show
Yeah.
my real hand.
So true.
Right.
But like when
Yeah.
it's an intimate setting and we're just talking about life, and it's like, fuck, this shit might come
It's gonna
up.
get real.
And now I have to be
Yeah.
vulnerable in front of a person that I might not have been ready to. And so it not necessarily forced me, but also encouraged me to let people in
Yeah.
the outside of her. Cause she's the only person I had ever, like, I never did drugs or anything. I didn't even drink till I was like 28. But the first time I did, we talked about this before. First time I did was with her because she was the only
I
person
feel
I had
like you have
trusted with my
talked
life.
about it on here
And
before.
you can't do that shit with everybody.
You can't.
You know what I'm saying? Like
You
some
can't.
shit goes down, like you do that shit with regular niggas, and they be like, "Oh, let them sleep it off." Like, no, I'm
Right.
dying.
Exactly.
Call the ambulance.
I need to be held
Yeah,
right now.
I need some help right now.
Right.
But now I have this family unit out here that I trust with the same intensity and with the same,
Mhm.
I mean, everything with my life. And it feels good to be able to let my guard down a little bit.
I
will
love
admit.
that.
Yeah. It's been really beautiful to see it. Just the way the conversations he has with them that I know like he doesn't have space or he is not safe to have with a bunch of other friends. You know, I understand needing to know who you can share those moments and that level of connection with.
Exactly. Because intimacy is not going to be blanket across the board. Like you're just going to
It's
have
different
some
levels.
people. It's levels. It's levels to this shit, y'all.
I was just about to say the
It's
levels to this shit.
literally. And there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes people get offended when they don't have the same access to you in intimacy as others. The thing is, intimacy isn't special, but you still have the autonomous right to say, and I'm gonna stop it right here with you.
Yeah.
Right.
And sometimes you just gotta let people know, like, hey, we not there yet.
Right.
And it's
Right.
like,
We're not there yet. I
yeah,
literally
it's
say
like,
that
yeah,
all
we're
the
not there
time.
yet. We're not there
Yeah.
yet. It can happen. Like I have a friend that I've known for years, longer than a lot of these people in our family unit. She's not there yet.
Yeah.
And you know exactly.
Because time
what
doesn't matter. It's not time. It's the amount of safety that you feel with opening up to that person. Because you know how it is. When you start getting really deep and vulnerable, you want to make sure that the stuff that you're sharing is not going to be weaponized against you later on.
Talk that talk!
Yo.
Talk that motherfucking talk!
What is shared in intimacy and in the moment of vulnerability is supposed to stay in that container and it's supposed to be held with empathy and compassion.
Yes.
Not weaponized. And so if the body registers this person as a potential threat, because some people are just too loose-lipped.
Yes.
You know, and they don't
loose lips.
It's not that
ships.
they do. And it's not like they intentionally are trying to be the way. That's just
who
how they are.
That's just who they are.
And I also will say that that's who they think they are. And a lot of times it's performative. I'm just going to say that.
God
they
damn,
need something to talk about.
You reading the fuck out of this person.
I don't even know this person at
but
all.
it just goes to show you that we are more alike than we are different.
Yes.
And a lot of people, even though we don't like to be put in boxes, you can kind of categorize a lot of friendships, a lot of family members, a lot of relationships,
it's not hard.
all that type of stuff. But it's also very important to know that it doesn't matter how much you love a family member or a friend and stuff like that. You have to be aware of the people that you're keeping around and the information that you're letting go of. You still have to be protective. And that's the thing. Like this shit, whether it's friendship, a marriage, family relationships, everything requires work. You cannot put this shit on cruise control and think that shit is just always going to be good.
It's not.
Because it is like a plant. The same way that you have to tend to it and give life to it and water it and make sure it's getting enough sun, you have to do that with relationships.
And stop thinking, sorry, baby, but I just to piggyback on that, stop thinking that you don't have to work on all your relationships.
All of them. That's the point that I was trying to make.
Yes, that's why I just wanted to say it directly because I have found and experienced so many people who put so little work into building genuine friendships and so much work into romantic relationships. And it's like,
because they assume that the friendship is going to take care of itself because of the amount of time you've known this person and because of what friendship is defined as. They feel like it's just something that can just maintain
they know I'm busy.
And quantity does not equate quality.
It does not. Stop with this whole, I've known them for this long. They
that
should
don't
know.
matter.
No, you change every day.
Listen, I don't even like the same pizza I liked 10 years ago. So
Bam.
with that, like if that's something as small as the pizza, my taste buds, like that person can be changed too. And it takes very little to just check in. You can check in via text, even if you and the other person are busy. Hey, thinking about you, hope all is well. When you get a minute, let's catch up or something like that. That lets that person know that you're still invested in the well-being and the maturity of that friendship. You're still invested. And that's what the people want. Like everybody wants to feel like their time is respected, their friendships, their commitments are respected. And that little bit makes a difference.
It does.
And don't do the throwaway. We should get together. Be like, I'm free. Such and such. Such and such.
We're
What
adults.
is your
Set a
schedule?
time.
Like,
Listen,
actually set it.
Everything can be done from here.
Set it.
Everything can be done from here.
Because
I used to be that way.
Mhm.
And then Farron got me good on the goddamn Google calendars. I'm going to send it to your calendar. I'm going to send it to your
and
email.
it was another time where he was like, oh, I was supposed to be linking up with this friend. And he was like, oh, and this friend asked me to link up. Maybe I'll just get them together. And I was like,
No.
Yes.
They asked for one-on-one time. You put everybody in the same room. You block in a conversation, a connection. Pick
That's
one.
true.
Pick
She
one.
was absolutely right.
Pick a
And
side.
that's exactly what the fuck I did, because she's absolutely right. Don't minimize the situation by including too many people. That person might need that time.
Mm-hmm.
They might need that time from you to have a conversation where they really need to hear from you. They need your feedback. They need you to just listen. That's another thing. Sometimes people, guys, put it on me, Amir. This one right here. Fellas, we are notorious with this. I know how it is, especially being a Pisces. We want to help
Pisces.
everybody. We are so empathetic. We want to just fix all the problems. I had to limit my threshold of what I could take from people because I know that about myself. And so when I ask a person how they doing and they start going on, sometimes I have to just listen and kind of tune some of it out.
Yep.
But also another thing is I can't fix everything. And sometimes people don't want you to fix it. Sometimes they just want to complain. Sometimes they want to just vent. Sometimes they want to cry, yell, and curse. And sometimes you just need to listen and not try to fix everything, because that's what that person needs in that moment. So you cannot be a savior to all. You cannot be a fixer to all. I found that out the hard way. Save yourself and also save that relationship by not trying to fix everything.
And I gotta say this too, to piggyback off of that, right? You didn't even ask for consent to even try to fix anything or give them any advice. Because see, I learned in being a reformed codependent, I learned that when you just offer up advice or you tell somebody what they should do, that's a form of codependency. And so I stopped doing that because I was like, oh, wow, I'm actually infringing upon this person's autonomy by just telling them what they should do instead of asking them, can I offer some advice or can I offer you a different perspective on that, right? Because then you're bombarding people with things they didn't even ask for. So it's like, it's not our responsibility to fix anybody, but what we can do is just show up as an empathetic source, right? And just be a source of like.
Look at him. He's so smitten. He's so smitten.
Conversations are.
You're so goddamn smart and dope and shit. What's your mailing address? I just want to mail you a letter and tell you I miss you.
You know,
not mail you a letter.
See, but he got me though with the mail and the letter thing because I like that shit.
I'm gonna doodle all on the side of the goddamn, all on the border of the paper. I'm gonna get good paper from the store. I'm going to the stock. I'm going to get stock. Oh, good stock. It's gonna be heavy.
Give me some Bristol and get some Bristol paper. Yeah, I like that shit.
Yeah. I'm gonna seal it too. With the wax.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yep,
Courier service.
Want me to put some lip gloss on him so he can kiss it?
Put some
I'm gonna spray some cologne on it.
Some baccarat on there. Oh my God. Oh my God.
He about to go buy some just so he can have something to spray on there.
And I'm gonna crush up some Nag Champa and just do this.
Yo, you do that? It's a wrap, dog. I mean, like, I'm flying back to LA. I'm coming, baby.
Oh my God.
We're like, you smudged this before you sent it? Oh my God.
That's what I do.
Namaste.
Real quick, this conversation led me to think of, also to piggyback on what both you guys said and then get to my question. Knowing how to protect your energy because a person calls you or reaches out to you doesn't mean that you're in a place where you can receive it. And sometimes I just don't respond.
Yeah.
Period.
I don't answer because it's like I already know what this conversation is going to look like.
Yep.
I can't. Like if they call 2 times in a row, okay, then what's wrong? But you just call once, like you just wanted regular shit. I can't today. I can't. I need to be in a different state of mind before I can speak to certain people.
Certain people call you only when they got bad news.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You never want to celebrate your wins with me. You just want to tell me about how, and not necessarily for me to fix the problem, or
No.
financially, but
it's
like
just
still,
to complain.
it's a lot, and
it's
again,
a drag.
sometimes you got to allow people that space. But if it's a consistent thing where this person is doing this, one,
and it's
you
messing
can't
up
be
your
that,
energy.
Yeah, you can't be that person for that. You can't be that person for that person all the time.
Yeah.
You
That's
just cannot.
vampirish. Like that's vampire vibes right there.
Oh, the sucking.
Yeah.
And never replenish it.
They'll-
You just gonna
they
drain
just
my
take,
cup
take,
and
take.
never pour into it.
Take,
Share
take,
some of
take.
the good news with me. Tell me when you got some good sex or you
Look, period.
the waiter took care. Give me something. But if you only calling me with the bad news, I am going to distance myself. I cannot handle it. I can't.
Look.
Sherry Bourne said, so here go being Papyrus buying up the store.
That good stuff, yeah. I mean, that bitch, listen, they're guilty pleasure. I like stores like that.
Listen.
Yeah.
I like papyrus. I will
Yeah.
go buy some pens and some
Oh,
notepads.
it's
Never
cute.
use it. Never
That right
use
there
it.
It's a
It's
really
just,
cute stationery store in Silver Lake. I mean, just saying.
As a writer.
I buy cards. Like when I go to little coffee shops, they will bring stuff in from local vendors and stuff like that. I like buying like independent card owners.
Oh, yeah,
some
you
shit
do.
that
I
like
love that.
no one else is gonna get this. You won't receive this birthday card from anyone else.
I
Yeah.
love that.
I want to be set apart that much, and I'm like, fuck it. I get to do two things: help a small business and put myself on a motherfucking bar.
I love that.
Motherfucking bar. Throw that bitch up.
Like as a writer, I really appreciate a good pen and like how it glides across the paper, like real
Yeah.
smooth, and how
Yeah.
it feels in my hand.
Yeah.
Like,
I got
you
a
know.
pen that you will fuck. I'm gonna have to see because I got one left, and I've been saving it. I'm like, somebody gonna appreciate this
You
pen.
talking about the crinkly one?
Yeah, and it's
that
art
one.
too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see you before you go, and I'll make sure you get this pen. 'Cause You're gonna fucking love it. It's an amazing.
How long you in
pen.
town?
Till Monday.
Oh, okay.
So my flight's
Um,
like late evening.
But my question was basically ways to show up. I'm self-intimacy. That's a thing, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you give us some examples of ways that we can better show up for ourselves in that light?
First and foremost,
Get out my
lean
notepad.
in. Lean in, y'all. First and foremost, you have to hold yourself accountable. You have to be willing to be honest with yourself. Because there's a lot of ways that we're lying to ourselves, and it's because we don't want to face the truth of the matter. And sometimes we don't want to admit that we've placed ourselves in situations that have brought harm to ourselves, right? And it's because we're holding on to a belief or a thought that makes us feel unworthy or like we're not enough. And a lot of times those beliefs have come from outside of us, but we have internalized them and we think that it's a part of who we are. And we forget that we believed the lie. And so we say, well, this is just how I am. This is just who I am. So what is required is like a catalyst. So something happens or someone comes along and then they catalyze that healing, which we call being triggered. I like to say is being activated. Right, I learned that from Dr. Lex. Shout out to her.
I was about to say that sound like some old Russian spy, like activate the sleepers.
Activate it does, right? But that's what happens. You get activated, and then this thing comes up that reminds you that this is not a part of you. This needs to leave. That's what really is happening when you're triggered. Your body is saying, "Hey, this thing doesn't belong. You need to focus on this. Give yourself what you need to get rid of this." And so in holding yourself accountable, it's being truthful about that thing and what you are feeling in the moment. And that's intimate in itself. Doing shadow work, going in and doing the think work to rewire your thinking around a certain thing and actually figuring out the source of where that thing came from. That is at the base of being able to build that intimacy. And then boundaries, right? Listen. I'm gonna say this. I have been practicing stronger boundary setting over the last 4 years. Yeah. Because I was not always good with that. I am a reformed people pleaser. And don't get me wrong, like I still enjoy pleasing people. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to
but not
please
at your
people.
own detriment.
Exactly. Not to where you place yourself up as a martyr. And it's like, don't do that because that's fake. It's fake because you made the choice. Right? Don't put yourself up and then be like, oh my God, I'm being sacrificed. Like you sacrificed yourself. You did that. Again. Being real with self is intimacy. So when you set those boundaries, going back to what you said around some people just like to call you to dump, right? A boundary is like, hey, I'm not here for you to emotionally dump on me. Or it's, hey, are you going to do an emotional dump today? Okay, well, I don't have the energetic capacity for that. And so call me another day. Click. That's a boundary, and you stand on that. And as a people pleaser, you might feel like, oh my God, but what if they really need me? What if they're suffering? Not your concern. They'll be okay.
Yeah.
And you set that boundary and you stand on it. And you set that boundary in all places of your life because it honors you. And that's building a deeper intimacy. But you're not going to know what boundaries you need to set if you don't know energetically what's impacting you and what you need to feel secure, what you need to feel filled up. And that requires spending some time alone. Some people are running from themselves where they always on social media. They're always out. They're always on the phone with other people. It's always about things that are external.
Yeah.
And the moment they sit down and it's quiet and they have nothing around them, they're freaking out.
Going crazy.
Going crazy.
Yo, I used to get like that. And now I find myself when he's out of town, the kids at school, I will be walking around the house the entire day or just sitting somewhere. And it's completely silent. No music, no TV, no nothing. And it was a point where I could not do that because my own thoughts, they were either keeping me like anxious or I just felt attacked by all the negative shit going on in my head. But now I'm like, yo, I can sit here and be happy like in silence because he knows like I didn't understand alone time. I didn't get it, so I didn't understand it and I was just okay not having it. And now I'd be like, can y'all leave? Can you get out? Can you go? Can you go? When you go, can you stay gone?
And that's the thing about the voices, right? When we run from them, they become louder. We empower them when we ignore them. We actually pacify them when we address them and we give them what they need. They are loud because you're ignoring them.
They like children.
They are. And it's really those wounded parts of yourself that's crying out for what it needs. So when you actually address them and you realize like you have control over all of this and literally they can't do anything to you. They can't. Your thoughts can't do anything to you. A thought only has like traction when it becomes an action. And that's a choice that you have to literally activate because it's coming from within you. So nothing can actually be created or come into physical reality until you make that decision for it to be. So it all starts and stops here. So like in Tantra, we have this practice called feeding your demons, right? And demons are basically just those shadow parts or those wounded parts of self that have gone unhealed. And so in feeding your demons, you have to sit in meditation and you really like visualize, like you bring up, okay, what's the thing that you're battling with the most? Let's say like jealousy, right? Then you say, okay, you put a face to it. What does it look like? And then you speak to it. And you ask it what it needs, and then you like make yourself into this nectar and you feed yourself to the thing until it transforms, right? And it becomes a daemon or an angel, which is like a protector and an ally. So you can literally transform your traumas into allies, right?
Wow.
And it's a deep, like I've done it. And when I tell you that thing transformed my life, and I only met one other person in life on a flight because she was like deeply traumatized and I was telling her about this and she was like, I got the book. Bam. I said, damn, that's crazy. And so doing that kind of work, like that shadow work, approaching these things and knowing that you have the power to transform them. But when you are consistently running and thinking that running is going to help it, they just get louder to the point where people start doing things like, you know, being dependent on substances, being dependent on sex, right? Food, whatever, anything that's external that can pacify it. It's like, it's just false though, because it's not really doing what it's supposed to do to transform. You don't want to pacify, you want to transform. So I'm happy that you're in that space now.
Learn and grow and
exactly
get to the root of the thing. So yeah.
Yeah, because if you don't get to the root, it's gonna keep growing.
Yeah.
You're just gonna, you're gonna cut it down and you don't see it on the surface anymore, but it's gonna keep growing.
It's still there. Yeah.
Pull the bulb up.
Pull that bulb up. This was amazing.
Yes. Last question before we get out of here. Name one thing you've always wanted to try sexually but haven't, and explain.
Okay. One thing. Just one? Shit. Okay. Okay. Definitely a threesome with two men. Now I want two different couplings. I want an MFM where they don't interact with each other and I'm just in the middle, and then also a MMF where they do interact with each other and me too.
Samesies.
Yo, listen. Listen.
Yes.
I like dick. I like dick a lot. So if I could have multiple dicks at once, that'd be great. Especially if they both have the stamina to match
sound like
me.
me though?
That is fair. That's one of her top fantasies.
That's one of my
on her
top
list.
fantasies.
But it's so difficult to get it though because of internalized homophobia.
Yeah.
It sucks.
It's out here
It's
ruining
out
good
here
times
ruining
left
a-
and right.
Come on now, like we trying to get dick down, okay?
What she said?
I like, man, like give me one here, one here. You know what I'm saying?
Because me and her is like this, okay?
Let's go. Like, damn.
Flirt some more, nigga. Shit.
I've had multiple, threesomes with like another woman and a guy or whatever.
Yeah.
And I've had just like a three-way with like women, all women, but that's the hardest one to achieve. And I'm like, I just want that because
And I've seen it. I know it happens.
I know it happens.
I've seen it.
I want that to happen for me. I want that for you too.
Why not me, right?
Like that. And I thought I was close one time, and I do not gonna lie, like I do want a certain size. You know what I'm saying? Like even though I'm an equal opportunity dick employer, I do want these two men or penis owning people to have a certain size. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a big fan of girth. You know? Like, I'm a big fan of girth. I mean, I like the length too. I mean, I'm not a size queen, but I do like a challenge. So,
She was like, in the things I'm trying to do, you need to be packing to make sure you can reach the angles and turn around.
I need that pressure. I need that pressure.
She tried to be picked up in the middle. I see
Look,
it.
I like, if you got a football build, holler at me. You got the thick thighs, holler at me. Like,
yo.
That's
How we
crazy,
attracted to the
man.
same type
I'm
though?
weak. Listen.
Show her the roses.
Listen.
Prove it.
I'm saying.
It's crazy.
Okay, so underarms, profusely sweaty at this point.
Thighs is out here thighing like a motherfucker.
Oh my God.
Why you thiging?
Cause y'all got that power behind y'all stroke,
the
you know what I'm
same.
saying? Like, and then you get to bounce me on your lap with the thick ass thighs. Like, come on.
I need you to stay a part of our life, so he gonna take you
mean-
back to your hotel after this.
I mean, I got an executive suite. We got room. We got surfaces.
You got the tripod in the car?
Listen, this has been another episode of More to the
OnlyFans
Story.
content.
Tell them
she
where
also-
to find you again.
She also has you get 3 months, you get the discount on the OnlyFans, like $35.99. Just cop that.
Oh, you just
Nigga just copped that about 20 minutes ago. You know what I'm
Listen.
talking about? Yes, I did.
tell them where to
Listen.
find you again. Give them all the handles, all
You
the
can
things.
find me on Twitter at Glamazon Tayomi, Instagram at Real Glamazon Tayomi, my blog, Glamorerotica101.com. If you are a vagina owner and you want to work out with me and you want to become a dick assassin, go to thecowgirlworkout.com. We've been featured on Epics, on Fuse TV, WeTV, XO Nicole, Cosmopolitan, Hype Bay, and a few more publications coming out. You can also find me at thepleasureacademy.com and on OnlyFans at glamazontayomi.com. If you forget any of that, just put Tayomi in Google. You'll find it all.
That is.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah,
Google me,
motherfucker,
baby.
yeah, Google me, baby.
Yes, thank you so much to the More Mob for joining us live. Y'all
All right,
was
More
in
Mob.
here.
Woo, woo.
Okay.
And
gang shit.
yes, stay tuned for this episode. Possibly next week. We'll see. We
See
don't
y'all
know.
next week, man.
Bye.
Talk to you soon. Peace.